Have you ever felt? Are you listening? Damn.
So if you paid attention on the physics lesson, in the physics lessons in the school, then you may remember this experiment with supercooled water, when it looks like just water, but actually the temperature is below zero, and a small small bump on this bottle will lead to the change the water into the ice. And this is what is happening with, in my opinion, very much with cryptocurrencies market. So we have a quite steady period of the trading with Bitcoin and like a lot of other altcoins as well. And in principle, we are like, I wouldn't say that we are super cooled now, but the thing is, we have a lot of the things happened and a lot of the positive news, a lot of the progress, but this doesn't move the market upwards, and also all the FUD doesn't move it downwards. But like we're expecting this triangle to break because it's bearish triangle and everything, but no, it didn't happen. So what is happening now though is that we're accumulating this stress, this supercooling position, supercooling state, and someday when somebody would hit the bottle of cryptocurrencies, then it would turn into something completely different. Hopefully not iced. Hopefully will not go to like $1,000, but go higher than the current level. And the thing is, first I would like to mention this triangle. So, and an even bigger triangle, whatever you will draw it. Currently, we are going out from this triangle. Of course, Coinbase is still somewhere around there, but the more this progresses, the more we see that this pattern is invalid, and we are about to continue sideways trading, and there will not be any kind of huge move anytime soon. And second thing is that if you look at the difference between the Tether and non-Tether exchanges, recently we see again the start to increase of this spread, and actually we can even look at this more precise way, like this. So this is the difference between Coinbase and actually between the Bitfinex and between Coinbase. So let's look at the previous time. So here it is. So basically it was something like 10 plus minus 10, $5, $15, but currently it is much bigger. Actually, you see this period, it was also huge change in the price before, and it is April. And currently we have the similar thing that happened some time ago, when we had this huge spread between them, like $1,000 or something, and then we went down nearly to zero, but didn't really touch this. And finally we have just recent day, we have the sudden rise in this spread, and also this is actually pretty much correlates with the price of Tether. If you look at the Kraken exchange, so here what happened before, when we had this huge spike in price of Bitcoin, and both types of exchanges then returned back, and now you see this huge red candle. So now it's 97 cents, and probably it's quite likely that it will continue to drop. Also, the volume you see here is picking up. So if it will continue to do that, in principle one would expect as possible to see the change in price in the positive direction as we had before. However, this time we see it, at least on Coinbase, non-Tether trading exchange, we see it in the opposite way, and this is a bit like, I wouldn't say dangerous, but not that positive sign. So maybe we will, like some people trading on Bitfinex, they're trying to get rid of Tether in this condition and already buying Bitcoin. That's why the price goes up here. But other people who don't have the Tether but have fiat gateway, they try to get into fiat instead of Bitcoin because they worry about the situation with Tether and so on. So they try to get fiat, and that's why the price of Bitcoin goes down, and it drags all the altcoins together with them. Speaking about the altcoins, I must say that there's one altcoin at this current condition which doesn't really look bad, and this is Quark Chain. We talked about this before. After the testing this support, it goes up, it went up, and actually it's continuing this quite of a rally, and now we probably will test this resistance line, which was the top of our channel. I wouldn't surprise if it will bounce, and probably will continue to be trading this, but still it looks very healthy and strong comparing to the overall market. Finally, which I was going to mention with the price of Bitcoin, is that if we look at especially the recent price action, and when we have a low liquidity and so on, if we'll compare it with Nasdaq price, we actually will see that it correlates quite a lot with Nasdaq. So yeah, before we already talked about that when we had the drop in Nasdaq, it didn't really affect the Bitcoin. But now when the cryptocurrency is very low, liquidity and not so much price action happening, we see actually quite of the correlation. And the reason of that, I think that in principle we see some kind of consolidation in terms of the trading participants. Like most of the traders right now in crypto space, I think are like only professionals survived, and those people usually trade also on the traditional markets. And the way they act in traditional markets, basically the same way they act with crypto, and they move their funds in the same way. So this may be the reason of this correlation. So actually, if we would consider the next behavior of the Nasdaq or S&P, actually it didn't make a second top here, like higher top. It actually didn't break this one, and we are going down again. And if we will break first one, this level, and second, like we will not make like an inverse head and shoulders, which is the hope for all of them out there on the classical market, although it's not really valid pattern because there was no descending trend before that with comparable scale. But still, if it will not happen, then we may break this target, this level, and then we'll reach this one. And if we'll break this one, then we'll make a lower low, and this would be very scary for most investors. And I would expect this to happen like in the end of November, maybe already, or maybe beginning of December. And if it would happen, then it may affect the Bitcoin as well the same way as it happened before. So don't be surprised if we'll see the huge drop as we expected with Bitcoin exactly before December positive events like BACT or something like that. At the same time, we see the same picture with shorts of Bitcoin, that it doesn't go up, so people still expect increase in price, and longs are basically went up and still stay at the same level. So people are not expecting huge drop eventually, but again, it really may happen. Also, as we talked about the altcoins recently, that they show some like interesting news, positive progress, do some releases, and etc. I must mention the one which is, oh, and also speaking about the Bitfinex and the Tether thing, I must say that there was a news about the increase of the fee for withdrawal of your Tether, or actually US dollars, from Bitfinex. If it happens more than twice a month, or you do it for more than $1 million, then you have to pay for like 3% fees, which is exactly the spread between USDT and dollar. And this is one of the news which makes people annoyed, and that's why maybe Tether goes down in price. So, but again, speaking about the altcoins, what I was going to say is that since they start to show some positive news and progress, this is one of the indicators of the market should turn up eventually, maybe very soon. And one of them, which is Ripple, and it couldn't be blamed with some bad marketing or marketing policy. So they actually start to show some partnerships, some progress, and so on. And like one of them is that they sort of entered Chinese market, which is really huge, and there were rumors about that before, but now they say, okay, we can do this technology of Ripple in China, and price didn't actually change that much, but again, maybe it's like buy the rumor, sell the news. Finally, not only that, but yesterday we talked about as well the maybe it was already yesterday that the Japanese biggest Japanese bank, and it provides they discuss with XRP the possibility of using it for the payments between Japan and Brazil. Also huge news. Finally, the possible listing on a Coinbase is on the way. And here it is. You see records obtained from the North District of California confirm that the San Francisco-based company has filed an application to move its securities lawsuit from state to federal level, which would allow Ripple's lawyers to provide definitely that XRP is not a security. So if it would happen, then a lot of the FUD about XRP will be eliminated, and the listing on Coinbase, which is expected to be happening only for security type tokens, also will be much more possible. So you see, and for example, this one, price spikes after CEO calls for global framework and bashed Bitcoin, and also they say what we're going to execute and executing on day-to-day basis is in fact taking over Swift. Yes, if they will take over the Swift, then it will be huge, like enormous progress for XRP, and this will be definitely make it go to new all-time high in my opinion. But my conclusion from all of that, we see a lot of the altcoins pushing the information environment, like narrative, to a positive field, to a positive space, and this might be an indicator of the fact that we are actually going up from those points we're looking at now. So hopefully we'll see new higher low within a few weeks, but again, be careful, use stops, don't forget that everything which I say is my personal opinion, not financial advice. I remain bullish and hope to see you tomorrow, next update. See you soon, guys. Goodbye.